My name's Danny.
My name's Lorenzo.
My name is Nemo.
And this is my health journey.
And this is my health journey.
This is a testimony of my health journey.
I have multiple autoimmune diseases that affect my overall health on a daily basis. In June 2024, I started on the carnivore diet, so I switched to only red meats and fruits. For about a year and a half now, I've been doing that, and I felt much better. My fatigue has gone down increasingly. I've noticed much better energy levels. It's been way easier to wake up in the mornings. And physically, after all that, I just feel better.
So I suffered a concussion. Doctors told me that I wasn't allowed to play sports anymore. I just kind of let that get me into depression, and I just started eating everything I could see because I thought that was making me feel better. I just got tired of looking at myself in the mirror and not liking who I was. But now, like red meat is essential to my life. Some type of fruit or vegetable, but I'd rather pay the price for food now than pay the price for my health later. Because I was feeling all of these great things, my depression ended up going away.
The doctor gave me 5 years of life expectancy. So I went home and I prayed and I cried, and I didn't want to take the medication that they want to give me because they want to lower my immune system, and I don't agree with that. And I did the research after I prayed, and this woman said that she cut pork and shellfish out of her diet, and she never had a problem again. And I said, this is easy to do. So I did it. And in the process, I was healed not only from the rare relapsing polychondritis, but also the psoriasis of my hands and ankles and feet.
Leading up to 2015, I was a very strong, active, independent woman. I had 2 young boys, and in 2015, all of a sudden, I couldn't move. Didn't know what was going on, went through a bunch of testing, and I was eventually diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Going through weeding out different foods and stuff, I was able to manage my symptoms without medication and completely eliminate them by cutting out all inflammatory foods. It's been a decade since that diagnosis, and I no longer have fibromyalgia.
In 2007, almost 18 years ago, I was diagnosed with MS after having a bunch of different tests. And when I went to the doctor for the final diagnosis, he asked me what kind of shots I wanted to go on, and I told him I had been doing all kinds of research, and I found out people, even though the doctors say there are no cures, I found out that people are actually recovering from MS by going gluten-free, dairy-free, red meat-free, sugar-free, taking different vitamins and supplements. And since that time, I have had no new lesions, no episodes, no MS symptoms of any kind for the past over 17 years now.
Back in late March, I had my annual physical or wellness exam. Everything came back excellent except for the blood pressure. Well, the first thing the doctor said was, let me give you some pills to correct that. And I absolutely said no. The changes I made in the diet was the reduction of salt. That was the big thing, and some sweets. And now I feel that the blood pressure, and I just checked it this morning, and it was like I was in my 20s. So I feel excellent, and there was no need for blood pressure pills.
Back in 2020, I was on antidepressants and close to 300 pounds. I was eating half gallons of ice cream. Didn't make the connection until I realized it was the meds. Was able to get off the meds, and then the weight just started to drop off. I lost over 100 pounds. My depression is much better without the meds and to the power of Christ.
I originally started around 308 pounds. It wasn't until when we were stationed in Alaska and my son was crying as an infant and I had to actually go up those stairs. And the fact that I was out of breath was something that was very detrimental to me. It hurt me because if I can't keep up with an infant, how is it I'm going to actually be able to keep up with an actual child? So after that pivotal moment in my life, that's when I decided to actually take my health serious. And I started to eat whole foods, and I was eating more frequently, smaller meals, and when I seen the weight coming off, I just continued to do it. Between doing that, I was actually able to lose 183 pounds, and it's been over 10 years and I kept it off.
So about 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with PCOS, and one of the
things that just kept coming up was diet and nutrition. And what I started doing was shopping on the outside of the grocery store. That's where all the healthy meats and vegetables and fruits are. And what happened when I started doing that, a lot of my symptoms subsided. I just felt better physically, emotionally, and spiritually, because it's a combination of all of those three.
I weighed more. I was 40 pounds heavier, had a lot of inflammation. I would wake up really swollen and tired and just never feeling fully rested from a night's sleep. Had a lot of anxiety. So I started to clean up our diet, basically did an elimination diet, stripped everything away. We went hardcore carnivore, focused on ruminant meat, grass-fed, introduced fruits, honey, dairy, and that's pretty much the food groups that I allow in the house now. My energy feels boundless now. I hike, I walk 5 miles a day, and in that process, I lost 40 pounds.